The last part of section 6.3 involving logs talks about the graphs of logs, and this can be somewhat tricky. Basically, we want to graph a equation that's an exponential equation and either reflect it to make the log equation or just draw the log equation. So notice first of all that inverses reflect over the x equals y line. Here's your exponential, here's your log. Here's your exponential, here is your log. So one way to do it is to draw the inverse and reflect it over the x equals y line. The other idea is just to draw a table, get a table, and then just plot the points on the table, which is the way that I think I'll do it. So let's say we want to go ahead and just graph this right here. F of x equals log base 3 of x, meaning y is equal to log base 3 of x. Changing the form, 3 to the y is equal to x. So what I want to do is get my y's and x's, and this is going to be 3 to the y. In other words, I want to work backwards here on my table. So if I put 0 here, putting in 3 to the 0, I get 1. Putting in 1, I get 3 to the 1, which is 3. Putting in 2, you get 9. If I put in negative 1, 3 to the negative 1 gives me 1/3. So when I go ahead and graph these points are already in that form. 1, 0, 3, 1, 9, 2, and 1/3 negative 1. That graph looks like this. The inverse would be reflected over this. In fact, the inverse, what you could do is just switch the 2 points. So instead of 0, 1, it would be, 1, 0, it would be 0, 1. So that point would be reflected over here. This point would move over here, its reflection over the x equals y line. But this is pretty straightforward. Finding how to graph a log equation. I would not, I repeat, I would not do transformations on the logs unless it's very, very easy. Instead, what I would do is just do a quick table, get three or four points, plot them, and draw it. Let's go ahead and do another problem. This one is to graph it. So again, you want to change it into an exponential equation. 1/2 to the power of y equals x. And so this is your 1/2 y, this is your x, and this is your y. So again, you're choosing convenient y's to get decent x's so you can graph it. For example, 0 is going to give me 1. Negative 1 gives me 2. Negative 2 gives me 4, and 1 would give me 1/2. So those are enough points in order to graph. Again, you're reading them as points x, y now. 1, 0, 2, negative 1, 4, negative 2, 1/2, 1. And this is going to follow that pattern and go up like this. Notice that on here, you can't take a log of a negative number. X's cannot be negative. So you can see that the domain is going to go from 0, not including 0, to infinity. The range is going to be all real numbers.